Today I'm gonna say something that not everyone is gonna agree with. Bali is not the digital paradise that every influencer or digital nomad is making it out to be. So to give you some context, I lived in Australia for the last 6.5, 7 years. I sold my stuff at the end because I had enough and I wanted to go and see if we can find a better home or a better place to call home. Somewhere easier with cost of living, somewhere where we can prosper, we can build brands, businesses without the pressures that Australia has. You know, it's a very expensive country. Anywhere I went, I kept seeing people telling me to go to Bali, whether it's people I met that's doing digital nomad stuff or YouTubers, influencers, Australians. Anyway, Bali is the place for digital nomads. Bali is the place. Forget about Portugal, forget about this, go to Bali. So I came to Bali and now I'm gonna share with you my experience in Bali and what I think about it that many people don't share for different reasons. And I'm gonna start with the first thing that I despise the most about Bali: the traffic. Take the worst peak hour you can imagine from the biggest cities around the world. And from my experience, like Sydney, Melbourne, maybe New York, you know, the bumper to bumper car, traffic barely moving. Now imagine that every day, all day, everywhere you go, on tiny roads with millions of scooters zooming around you, going on the sidewalk, going on the opposite sides, trying to cut in front of you. No laws whatsoever. You're always concentrating, trying not to crash. You can't even take your eyes for 1 second off the road and look at some scenic route because something is gonna happen in front of you. This is Bali. Every day, all night, all the time, everywhere you go. I've driven everywhere in Bali and I just can't get myself to go and do some experiences because it's just not pleasant. It's so stressful. Even if you go to a beach that's beautiful like Nusa Dua and you want to relax and you come back home, it ruins all the relaxation for you to drive home because it's just so stressful. And even if you say, okay, I'm just gonna take it easy, stay in my lane, no, you're not gonna take it easy because some car is just gonna jump without indicating and try and cut in front of you like you're invisible and crash you out. There's no such thing as chill time on the road in Bali, and that's for me is really, really frustrating. And while you're sitting in this traffic, you're inhaling toxic fumes, dust is flying in your face, it's going into your eyes, and in the rainy season sometimes rain starts raining so strongly on you. It's just not nice. It's terrible. There's no break unless you drive at 2 a.m. and I found myself not wanting to go anywhere because of that and not wanting to do any experiences. And that's kind of killed the vibe of Bali because people come here and say, oh, there's so much to do in Bali. But if you can't get to it, and if you can't get to it safely and relaxedly, what's the point? You know, like if you live in Seminyak and your friend live in Canggu, which is only 1 or 2 kilometers away, good luck going to see your friends because that's 1 or 2 kilometers. It's gonna take you between 20 to 30 to 40 minutes sometimes because of how bad the traffic is. So what happens at the end is everyone ends up stuck in their own pockets and not moving around. And if you say, okay, if you don't want to be on a scooter, just be in a car, forget about it. When I say 30 minutes to go from Seminyak to Canggu, in a car, it's probably gonna take you an hour sometimes, if not more. The cost of living in Bali. Yes, everyone says Bali is cheap, but is it really? Well, let's find out. I'm gonna start by talking about food. Well, yes, if you eat at local warongs, it's cheap, guys. Okay, if you eat there, you can pay like $2 for a meal. My friend keeps saying you get what you pay for, and it's true. But the moment you wanna live and eat some Western food, let's say I want a burger, let's say I want pizza, I want to go have a latte that I like or an iced latte, then I'm paying Australian Western prices. So if I'm living in Bali and eating a burger and I'm paying the same price I'm paying for a burger in Australia, this is not cheap. This is actually more difficult because in Australia, at least you're making more money. In Bali, most of the people who come here are coming for the idea of living cheaper and then trying to make it bigger or just trying to have a comfortable life. But that means that you're gonna only have to eat Indonesian food. And for everyone who knows, Indonesian food is nice, but it's not for everyone. It's an acquired taste. Everything is extremely sweet and extremely spicy at the same time. And a lot of people can't handle it. So you end up wanting to have Western food. And Western food is not cheap. And then you realize that you can't even cook at home because even the supermarkets here are Western and everything imported is extremely expensive. So what you find in Australia for $4 at the supermarket is $10, $12, and $15 here. So you're doomed to have to eat outside all the time. everything adds up. Now let's go talk about trend. If you come to Bali, obviously you want to be where all the digital nomads are, where you're going to make friendships. So you're going to be at least Seminyak, Canggu, or Paranan. You want to be in those areas. How to put it lightly, the rent is very expensive in these areas. We are talking about one studio apartment with hardly any storage that costs you around 1,000 USD. Now people say, oh, well, you can get some cheaper stuff. Well, what's the point of coming to Bali and not getting the most out of it? Like if I want to go to Bali, I'm coming here because they told me the lifestyle is better. You can get a pool, you can get all these amenities at your place, and I want that. Otherwise, I'll just go back home. But if I'm gonna live in a really bad looking apartment just to pay a little bit cheaper prices compared to a place with a pool, what's the point? I'm paying here in Seminyak studio prices that Australia would charge me. And at the end of the day, it's not cheap, guys. It's not. It's almost reaching Australia prices. If you want a one-bedroom apartment, get ready to pay at least $1,000 a month. And it's not even on the beach, yeah? And if you want two-bedroom apartments, get ready to pay much, much, much more. And at this point, I'm comparing with Australia. And I'm like, hang on a second. This is borderline Australia prices territory. And we have a crisis in Australia. It's not that fun anymore. And when I speak about with people who lived here for a while, they said, yeah, before COVID, it was much, much, much cheaper. And now it's just messed up. And you know what, guys? I don't think it's worth it anymore. And that brings me to, again, part of the cost of living. The next most annoying frustrations is the visas. Every 2 months, you need to do a visa run. But that gets worse. To get a visa to Bali, you need to show them that you have an outbound ticket. So you need to buy a ticket to get out of the country. But they don't allow you to buy it for 2 months. You need to show them for 1 month. So you apply for the visa and you buy a ticket to get out of Bali for the end of the month. But then you decide, hang on, I'm staying here. I want to extend the visa for another month. Then what you need to do is pay for another 30 USD or 50 Australian dollars for another visa extension for 2 months, buy another ticket for the end of the month, or change the ticket you already have to the next month. And we all know how expensive and impossible it is to change low-cost tickets with airlines. We tried this. We lost so much money, guys. So if you factor that into everything, you need hundreds of dollars every 2 months just to do visa runs. And then let alone taxis and food in the airport. It becomes too stressful. And then you want to extend the visa, you need to go to immigration, take pictures. And then after 2 months, you have to leave the country completely and then come back. Repeat the same procedure. You want to extend the visa for another month. Again, you need to go to immigration, take your picture again. It doesn't register in the system, or it does, but they don't care. So it just becomes a massive frustration. And then you realize you're not allowed to legally work here on your laptop at all. So if you are coming here on a tourist visa, on a visa on arrival, and you're working on your laptop, it's basically illegal. That's what they say. So then you look up visas and visas options, and you mostly need to apply for visa that's cost $1,400 USD in order to work here. And then you'll have to leave and come back again to activate it, or you pay more money and you can apply from here to activate it. So it feels that it's very expensive already with the cost of living, cost of rentals, and cost of visas, especially when you consider that you're not getting any medical care. It's a third world country, the water is polluted, so it just makes it not as pleasant as everyone makes it look like. And you find yourself pondering when you're trying to apply for a new visa, is it really worth it? I don't know. And that brings me to another big frustration that I have: shopping. We spoke about food, and we spoke about how if you want to do food at home here, it's very expensive, so you end up not doing it because the supermarkets are very expensive. And that's because there is insane custom duties applied on all the imports. For example, my wife needed to buy some tampons. She's gonna probably kill me because I'm sharing that, but it's normal. A 6-pack of tampons or something like this cost 18 Australian dollars, while in Australia they cost $3 to $4. She saw the pricing, she freaked out. She's like, I'm not gonna pay for that. So she called her mom in Australia and asked her to send her 2 boxes of tampons, organic, that she likes, plus a deodorant that we can't find here. Again, organic, healthy deodorant, which they don't have here. And we send the box, we send it priority. The box arrives to Denpasar, to Bali, and then we had to drive 40 minutes to pick it up. And then we realized they charged us $50 customs on that box. So we bought stuff for $25, paid $40 shipping, and we had to pay customs on the shipping price and the content of the box price. A $25 box ended up costing us more than $100. And then you realize you can't send anything here because anything is gonna be taxed. Import and custom duties are horrendous. You can't order on Amazon here. You wanna buy on AliExpress, which is a huge relief for a lot of people in the Western world, and everywhere you buy stuff that are good quality, you find them on AliExpress, they're half the price. Well, guess what? AliExpress is banned in Indonesia. You can't buy on AliExpress. So what you end up with? Local platforms. And guess what? You can't use your credit cards or debit cards to pay for local platforms. You need an Indonesian bank account or GoPay or some other sort of thing, which you can't charge with your local card. So you're gonna have to end up taking cash out from your card, paying all this exchange rates and stuff like this, and refilling it, paying more tax in your Indonesian cards if you're allowed to open a bank account here, and then using that to buy your stuff online, or just going to 7-Elevens and stuff like this, equivalent of 7-Eleven, and paying cash for your stuff. It just becomes a big headache. And the problem is with these platforms is that most of the stuff are very low quality, are counterfeit. It's all in Indonesian. You're gonna struggle big time to shop online, and you're gonna struggle even bigger time to shop locally, because you want to buy electronics, for example, gadgets, everything is double the price in Australia. And the worst part is you don't get warranty. Forget about warranty. Even if you buy a JBL or Bose product, you have no warranty, zero. And that brings me to another point: SIM cards and phone packages. Not many people tell you, but in Indonesia, they block your phones unless you bought them from Indonesia. So in order to keep your phone working in Indonesia, you need to keep paying big money. So for 3 months SIM card, every 3 months, it's 30 to 50 US dollars. But if your phone is Indonesian, the 3 months of data will cost you only around 10 US dollars. And you'll think, okay, how can I go around it? Well, they give you an option. If you go in Bali, depending on the value of your phone, they're gonna tax you. For example, I have a Galaxy S22 Plus, which is almost 4 years old now, and they wanted 70 USD for me to register my phone as tax. Although it's used, forget about it, you have to pay that, unless you do it through the airport. Now, when you do it in the airport, they give you up to 400 US dollars value tax-free. Luckily, my phone sits on the 400 US dollars value bracket, so I didn't have to pay, but be wary if you have an iPhone 16, 17, or any brand new phone that have a higher value than 400 US dollars, be ready to pay, I think, 30% of that value to register it. So if you buy an iPhone 17 and you come here, you might need to pay 2 to 3 or to 400 US dollars just to have your phone working properly in Indonesia. And what happens is a lot of people just give up and don't have data because they don't want to keep spending so much on SIM cards. And that's a massive, massive problem that's not present in any country I've visited before. And it becomes massively frustrating. So my solution for that is, guys, get a second-hand phone like an S22, not something more expensive. So at least you'll have a functional phone here and you don't have to pay a ridiculous amount of money just to keep it working. The next big issue is the pollution. I spoke about the pollution from cars and scooters. Obviously, you have a tiny island with 4 to 5 million people in population, plus a tourist, and millions of scooters around you, and you end up inhaling insane amount of smog and smoke, and you feel it in your lungs, you feel it in your throat when you're stuck in the traffic that you can't escape. On top of that, they burn a lot locally. So all the time you go out and you feel like, okay, I'm not on the road, I'm gonna go to the side where it's more nature, less cars, if that's possible. Then you end up inhaling smoke coming to your house because they keep burning. And the locals, for some reason, throw the trash in the rivers all the time. And then during rainy season, which is now, this rivers, obviously the level of the river rises up, picks all the trash and dumps it to the ocean, and then the ocean dumps it back on the beach. So you go to the beaches to relax and you sit amongst trash. You go to swim and you're swimming amongst trash. The pollution here is horrendous and the trash problem is real. So at the end of the day, people might say it's paradise, but they're not showing you that you're sitting in paradise full of trash. Let's talk about the culture side of things here and the culture of the expats here. If you are a white person from the UK, from Australia, from New Zealand, or a Russian, Eastern European, you might find your people very easily here and you might fit in very, very well. If instead you are Italian, you're Greek, you're ethnic, you're Arab, you're gonna find it a bit hard to blend in, because while you'll make friends, you're not gonna find people that are more like you and aligning with your values, and then you're gonna find yourself a bit of as an outsider or an outcast. Now again, this is changes from an individual to another individual, but it's basically like this. I find that the Brits stick with the Brits, Australians stick to the Australians, the Russians stick to the Russians, and the Arabs stick to the Arabs. And the reality of it is there's a lot more Brits and Russians than anything else, and Australian, obviously. And if you're not part of that, you might be friends with them, but you might not just be in sync with their values, if that makes sense. But people are really friendly. The locals are amazingly friendly, and you'll just enjoy the positivity of those locals. Like, they smile at you, most of them want to help you. It doesn't feel like it's malicious. Indonesian people and Balinese in general were really warm, nice and welcoming, and that makes everything I say about the negativities to sometimes you think about it and you think, okay, this is a great thing, because I haven't seen any people like these people. They're really nice. To summarize my video, I'll ask you this: if you love nightlife, cafes, different cuisines, gyms, clubs, beach clubs, you're gonna absolutely love Bali. I'm loving Bali. I'm making friends here. I'm getting very productive. I'm going to the gym, to parties. But to commit here for long-term living like a digital nomad and not just for 1 month, I'm struggling with that idea. So my advice to you is, don't commit to Bali based on what you see on Instagram, because mostly they don't really show you how it is. Come for 1 month, experience it how it is really, feel the traffic, feel the cost of living, and see if you want to stay or not. See for yourself. But if you don't have the means to actually come and try for 1 month, don't come at all, because it's not going to be cheap. If you have the means, give it a go. Make your mind for yourself, right? Now, if you like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It helps me immensely. I would love to keep doing videos with you guys. I would love to share my ideas with you and my thoughts. Comment down below and let me know what you think about that. Have you been to Bali? Do you think all my reasons are valid? Or do you think, no, the other positive sides of Bali negate my reason? Let me know. I would love to have a conversation with you, and I will see you in my next video. This is Rami out.